All right, is this everybody?
I think so.
All right, so I'm very excited about this meeting. I just want to preface before I say too much. I'm not excited about that. Well, I love it when the phone's ringing. Actually, just not during this meeting. So I don't know if I've told many of you. Well, I'm supposed to make eye contact with everyone. You know, like stand like so when I was in college in like 1997, went to Chico State. And yeah, probably like before you were born.
Actually born in
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, thanks a lot. And so my parents came up to visit me one weekend, and we were in downtown Chico, and we're walking, and my dad's talking to me, and he says something like, "Oh, I have a friend that works at Intel, and I was going to be graduating like in a year." He's like, "You know, I really want you to talk to him because I think it'd be great if you went to work for somewhere like Intel." And I don't know if you remember the Intel Inside. And so the big exciting thing at Intel was they made some computer chip that worked, and that just didn't sound very exciting to me. So I told my dad, like, hey, listen, no offense, but I'm not going to work for Intel. Well, where are you going to work? I'm like, I don't know, but it's not going to be Intel or CompuServe or Netscape or any, Google. I probably should have gone to work for Google, but I didn't want to. And I basically got into this huge argument with my dad, and I ended up, I walked home. My parents were like visiting from out of town, and I was like so adamant that I wasn't going to just go work this corporate life that I just walked home, and just to show my dad how serious I was. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, but what I wanted to do was exactly this, and ultimately this opportunity developed, and I've been so lucky to be able to do it for over 15 years now. And I was talking to Brad yesterday. You remember what you said? You said, Javad, you've never looked so handsome.
Yeah, totally.
No, he didn't say that. Although it would have been true. No, but Brad's like, listen, I've been here for 2 years, and I really like it here. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, you're doing a great job. We appreciate all the work you're doing. Like, yeah, I like the job. I like everyone I work with. I love the products. I like the customers. He's like, I'm just not sure it's real. It's like, I don't know if it's a real job.
It's like, I'm pinching myself because I love it. It's
right. And it hit me yesterday when you were saying that, like, yeah, he's right. It's like, this is a dream job in a lot of ways. And what we get to do, and why I told my dad that, is because I wanted to do something like what Brad was talking about. I didn't want to go help sell, to be a tiny little cog, to have a tiny little microscopic slice of Intel. I wanted to come to somewhere like this, to have a lot of responsibility, high stakes, to have it all be put on my shoulders and have all of my actions determine whether it's successful or not. And each day, in your guys' respective areas and departments, you guys are that, right? Chris, Greg, everyone I'm looking at, you guys carry the key to success for everything you're working on each day. And we all do it together, we help each other. But that's the kind of opportunity I've always wanted, and the kind of opportunity I'm so thrilled to hear Brad realizes. But all that to say is I want to make sure that this great opportunity that we have continues in the future. And so something that I decided last year, if you guys remember, I brought Troy on like 3-4 years ago, and the idea was that Troy was a sales and marketing expert, and he was going to help 034 Motorsport grow. And Troy got to work, and we all got to work together, and we started getting results. The customers were coming in, we were expanding our distribution network, we were getting new customers, and what I wasn't able to do with my own personal finances, I wasn't able to fund the growth that someone like Troy could bring. And despite the great new deals Troy was lining up, I didn't have enough money to buy the product fast enough to have it, to ship it, to sell it, right? And so ultimately what happened is after 2 years of a concerted effort, it became really apparent to me that I didn't have enough personal wealth, because I don't have a rich dad. I didn't get a bunch of money. I don't have a trust fund. I started 034 Motorsport with literally nothing, and I would sell a part, and I would keep the profit, and I would sell another part, and after a couple of years, I had like $20,000 in the bank, and I quit my job with $20,000 to pay myself for like 6 months until the company could start paying me. So that's how the company started, and everything you guys see here, everything in here, is a result of every day making $1, saving a few pennies, and trying to reinvest it as much as possible. But that's very limited, and that's gotten us to the size we've been at, and our revenue has been really flat, and I just haven't been able to fund and finance the company's opportunities and growth. So I was just using this as an example, but ZTF Wheels is a 034 Motorsport forged world-class quality wheel. We've been working on these for about 2 years, and we have 5 sets, I think, 5 sets on order, right?
No, 10.
10 sets, okay. So we have, and we don't really even, we had enough money to order 5 or 10 sets of wheels. And so once those wheels show up, we're gonna sell them, and then try to save some of the profit from that to order like 20 wheels or 30 wheels. And it's just a slow process. We know that we can sell wheels. We know it's a great market. We should have a container of wheels on its way here, but we don't have the finances to really take advantage of that opportunity. And so a year ago, I made the decision to sell the company. And what I needed to do, and what entrepreneurs in my position very commonly do, is they sell the company to someone with a lot more money and a lot more financial resources. And if they're lucky enough, they get to stay on and help continue to run it, help continue to drive the vision, and move the company forward to do all the things they wanted to do, but they just didn't have enough money to do it themselves. And so I began reaching out to various investment companies, some of our competitors, some of our customers, all kinds of people started coming out of the woodwork interested in potentially buying 034 Motorsport. And someone in my position could sell the company, sell the brand, sell the products and intellectual property, shut down the operations, and have it live on someone else's website on the internet. And that's not something that I wanted, because as much as I'm so proud and happy to have developed all the products and built all the cool cars, and to have built this really well-known, well-respected brand in the industry, I'm just as much or more proud of what you guys have become, what the staff and the people at 034 Motorsport are. So many of you guys started with no experience, or have really grown and developed into these roles to become incredibly good at what you do. And that's not something that's a huge accomplishment for me. When I look to each of you and the kind of work that you guys do, that's thrilling to me. So that's not something that I wanted to have change or end. And so this company, MP, which some of the staff are here. This is Peter from MP, is the CEO, and Todd is the CFO, and Erica and Adriana are from their HR. I started talking to MP earlier this summer, and it really became apparent to me that this was the right opportunity, that they really understood what was so special and awesome about not only the 034 Motorsport brand, not only the products, but also the people and the operations here. And they really had a desire to give us the financial resources to become the biggest and best version of the opportunities that we have. And so for the last 3 months, we've engaged in the process for them to acquire 034 Motorsport operations from me. And starting today, they own 034 Motorsport. 034 Motorsport is a division of MP Incorporated, and I am staying on as the president of the company. And I will also be on the executive team at MP, helping navigate the overall corporate umbrella of both companies. And we will also be going out and doing more acquisitions and bringing in more companies like 034 Motorsport. So what this means for 034 Motorsport is, and what Todd and Peter and the rest of the board at Dubin and Clark, which is a private equity firm that owns MP, is they want to grow MP and they want to grow 034 Motorsport. And we're not talking about a little bit. We want to double or triple in size over the next 5 years. And that's the kind of goals that they're setting. And that's the kind of opportunity that really thrills me, because even though I love coming to work every day at 034 Motorsport, I have been frustrated by the lack of ability to take advantage of the opportunities. And I know that there's growth and opportunities for you guys too that we're not able to realize because of my limited finances. So this is a great thing. This is thrilling. On Monday, 034 Motorsport will resume operations. Nothing's changing as far as that goes. You guys are going to be doing the same work. Your paychecks will come from a different company. But the biggest thing that you guys will see changing over the next few months and the next few years is our ability to go after incredible new opportunities and invest in the future of 034 Motorsport. So for example, what we want to do is build a tuning team around Nate so that he's not just the guy that fixes your printers, but he's the world-class genius that can reverse engineer factory ECUs and develop the best tunes in the world. And so we want to give Nate 2 engineers to help him do what he's best in the world at. And it goes across the board. I will no longer be managing the company's finances. I won't be paying the bills anymore. That's not something that I wake up and look forward to. I don't wake up every morning and be like, yes, let's do accounts payable. Let's see how far we can stretch this dollar. And so I end up getting dragged into this day-to-day focus. And what I should be doing is looking at what's the next thing that 034 Motorsport can do that will rock the industry, that will make us a household name. How do we get Jalopnik writing articles about us? How do we get on Top Gear? How do we become a world-class tuning brand? I don't have time to think about that because Cintas is bullshitting me about our late past due bill that's not even really past due. Seriously, Chris, that's the kind of stuff I'm having to deal with. I'm supposed to be the guy that's like, onward and upward, let's change the world. Oh, Cintas? Okay, hold on. Oh, the rags, So I don't have to do that anymore, right? And ultimately, that's going to be the case for a lot of us here at the company, because we can share resources with MP. The other tremendous opportunity this presents is we can cut expenses by sharing business units and reducing that cost. So we spend a tremendous amount of money every month on accounting with an outside accounting firm. Well, MP has, led by Todd, a world-class accounting department already. So we can reduce the expenses from an outsourced. There's going to be no reduction of staff at 034 Motorsport as a result of this transaction. We currently outsource our HR to Melita. It's almost $10,000 a month. We can eliminate that expense and use Erica and her team. And so, you start to look, and pretty quickly, by reducing some of these extraneous things that you guys don't even know about or see, we're hundreds of thousands of dollars a year ahead in profitability. And once we take that even further, you might notice our warehouse is really full. And so, we cannot accept a container of 200 wheels in this warehouse. We just can't do it, even if we had the money to buy it. So what we can do is we can ship that container to MP, and they will ship wheels as we sell them, right? So Sage will just print pick lists down in Anaheim, and their staff will ship those wheels, while our staff continues to ship the products that are here. And then MP is bringing over containers. You guys know how big a container is, right? Like people live in them. They're bringing over several of those a month of new product. And so we're, Daily, okay, right? Every day they show up. And so, we're spending, about $300,000-400,000 a year on shipping costs to bring these products into this building. But instead we can just put those in empties container, and they show up in Anaheim, and they can truck up whatever parts we want in stock here, and they can inventory the rest down there and ship from down there. So I mean, what I just described to you is like almost a cost reduction of about $1 million a year. That's money that we can use to develop new products, to go after new opportunities. We can hire marketing people other than just Nick, poor guys, like thrashing, all alone. We can add resources to the different departments where there's opportunity. And I 100% can tell you that if we can come up with an idea that makes money, that they will give us the money to do it. Because this whole thing is about growing and making more money. And if we can present a business plan that makes sense, that shows a return on investment, that's exactly the business that they're in, right? And so we've had a lot of the passion and drive, and we want to do all this stuff, but it doesn't go very far if you don't have the money to back it up. So now we can have both. I'm not going anywhere. You guys aren't going anywhere. We have all the great stuff we already have, and now we can add the financial capabilities to take advantage of those new opportunities. So, I don't know, that's kind of the gist of it. I hope you guys, I'm seeing nodding, and I think you guys get it, you guys understand. If you're concerned about what this means for the future, all I would say is, give it a chance, stick around, and see what's happening. But we were just talking in the management meeting, and Sam was saying, like, this is probably the best time to ever work for 034 Motorsport. And I think it's really true. And I was just saying that I think in a year or two we'll look back at the time before this and realize like how tough it was to do what we were doing, to do how we've been doing with the financial resources we've had. And I think we'll look in the future. We'll look back and think, wow, this is an incredible time to be at the company, and the opportunities have never been greater here. So, yeah, you guys. Truly, I'm so thrilled and happy about this. I'm really excited to bring it to you guys. This is something that I've been working really hard on the last 3 months, specifically on this deal. And the due diligence, a really awesome thing to note is, and they don't just invest in any company, right? So this company has had in-depth financial audits, in-depth environmental audits, HR audits, sales tax audits, OSHA audits, and to my knowledge, we passed all the flying colors. And that says a lot about this little company with the 30 of us doing what we do every day, that we're good enough to be invested in, because there's very few companies in our industry that could say that. So that's a huge source of pride for me, and also a huge source of pride for what you guys have accomplished. They even did like due diligence on our reputation, our brand, criminal background checks for me. I even had to cough, That was the one thing I was just like, I'm waiting for it. So yeah, it's a huge source of pride. Anyone have a question or comments?
Swear to God, I thought we were all getting canned.
All about that. So today will be a crazy day. It'll probably be the least productive day in 034 Motorsport history. Normally I like to see you guys working and staying busy. So everyone's employment will be transferred today from 034 Motorsport Inc. onto MP Inc. And so all that means is that your paychecks will come from MP now and not from 034 Motorsport. And you guys will also transfer onto all of their benefits and everything. So your PTO is transferring over that you have now will be on the new system. And you guys will be, we're figuring something out for the 401k program. I don't know if do we know what we're doing?
Yeah, anyone who is contributing now will automatically get to contribute into our 401k plan, but your plan will end up terminating, so that money will either have to be rolled to our plan or to an IRA, or you can cash it out, but then there's tax penalties.
Right, so we're going to end our 401k, which is just the fund that we currently invest in, and I would strongly recommend transferring it to their new fund, unless you have a financial advisor tell you otherwise. You know, everyone will be going on to their PTO plan, their medical benefits plan. I've looked at everything, and it all at first glance looks better than what 034 Motorsport has been offering. And again, they're a much bigger company, so they can afford. The 401k matching is definitely better. Hey,
As far as benefits go, since we just did our elections for what we're doing for health benefits, so we're doing a new round.
Yes. So basically, you are terminating from 034 Motorsport. So now you're getting a new job at MP Inc. And so, yeah, it would just be like
Your current benefits will terminate.
Okay, now we are.
Yeah. They have great options. I've been
Now
looked
we're
into
doing
it.
meetings and stuff, like, sorry, I guess we did.
No, but it's gonna be.
Erica will, yeah, Erica and Adriana will give you guys everything. So, yeah. By the way, you guys have contributed $500,000 to your 401k in like the last 3 years. That's freaking.
Well,
So yeah, pretty incredible. So yeah, you guys still work for 034 Motorsport. Nothing's changing. And like I said, Monday it's no different, except your paychecks will come from a different spot. To go over a couple more logistical things. Actually, you want to say something, Todd? And then we'll get into logistics. Or,
First of all,
thank you.
welcome to the Yankee family. I'm actually impressed. I thought you'd get a little more emotional up here. Quite well.
It's been a long process.
Yeah, I can tell you in the about 5 months that I've known Javad, the one thing that has really come across in this process is how much he loves this company and how much pride he takes in it. Very, very happy to have you all part of the MP team. Javad's description of why this transaction makes sense between the two companies, I can't describe it any better than you did. You know, the single most difficult challenge of an entrepreneurial growing company is cash flow. And so for MP, it's a different story. We're in a different place in our history. So MP's history actually started back in the 1950s. So in terms of European aftermarket replacement parts, MP is kind of the first in the United States. So it started in Riverside, California in the mid-1950s. Gentleman had a Volkswagen car dealership called Econo Motors. And as he was selling cars, it was, you know, when things would break on the car, it was difficult to find parts. And through a couple of years of experience, he realized there were a couple of design flaws on the early Volkswagen vehicles that were being sold here. So, being an entrepreneur, he designed some improvements to the vehicle. He started bringing in replacement parts, and he ended up growing this business aside from his Volkswagen dealership. And eventually that became MP Inc. And in the 1960s, it really grew rapidly as a company that was focused on quality, speed, and innovation. And really got involved in the racing scene, particularly Volkswagen drag racing, and led to a lot of improvements to the air-cooled motor to make it go really fast. And then in the late 60s, the company changed hands and went downhill a little bit. And a young entrepreneur named Dan Weldon, who happens to be Erica's dad, got a hold of the name, and he was doing business at the time as Mr. Bug. And he literally started out in his garage, right, selling parts and swap meeting. And he eventually grew that business into something that wasn't just Volkswagen air-cooled replacement parts, but also under-car driveline parts. And at one point, the company was as large as about 50 million in revenue. So quite a player in the industry. But really, where we've come in our history is MP has played a very big role in keeping the hobby and the culture of old Volkswagens alive and well by providing affordable parts for people to keep those cars through several cycles of restoration of those vehicles. And we continue to do that today. And as an old company in a very stable market, our biggest challenge is the number of old Volkswagens out there is not increasing, right? It's decreasing. So every time somebody decides to park one of those babies out and send the rest to the recycler, we lose one more vehicle that we can put parts on. So our challenge in our business is growth. But the challenge that we don't have is cash flow. We're a very mature business, a very profitable business. We're looking for places to invest our cash so that we can grow faster. And thus the marriage here between these two organizations. You have a company that's profitable and cash generating, but is challenged to grow our top line. Married with an organization that has, infinite growth possibilities, but is challenged with the cash to live out those growth opportunities. So putting those two organizations together as we are today really provides opportunities to both sides. One, for us to grow the value of MP, and number two, to start growing together as an organization. Javad mentioned some of the cost synergies that are involved in this as well, of putting the two organizations together. But for me, it's really about unlocking the potential to grow as an organization. And that's what's so exciting about standing here in front of this group today, because the opportunities of a growing business, right? That provides opportunities for all the individuals who work in that business as well. And that's what's so exciting about it to me. So, MP today is about 90 people, headquartered in Anaheim, California. This building's about 12,000 square feet, right? We've got about 140,000 square feet.
Even more than that.
Yep, down in Anaheim. We've got like 30-foot ceilings with racking that goes all the way to the top, full of parts. So I mean, it's the scale of what you'll see there, and we really hope to get some of you down there to really kind of see the scale that we operate in, and it really shows the resources and the capability that starts becoming part of this combined company. The other piece is when we drill down and look at some of the capabilities and equipment that are available, there's things on our side that we need to get better at, right? So the product design and innovation side of it, I would say you guys have some advantage in that. Some of the things that you guys do is a little better than what we do, right? And then there's some pieces of equipment that we've talked about that we've got on our side that Javad would say, man, I'd love to have one of those, right? And so that shared capability is now there for the organization. So I'll just close by thanking all of you guys, welcoming you to the MP family. There'll be a lot of details to work through today from a paperwork perspective, and that's why Erica and Adriana are here to support that. But as Javad said, we'll just continue on Monday, just as we had, only with a lot more opportunity for growth. So thank you guys. I want to introduce to you our CEO, and I'll let Peter explain, but it's his third day officially as our CEO.
I'm here to inspire confidence.
Yep. Peter Guy. Yep.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, there's some energy in the house. Right, so it's day 3 for me, but I've been on the board of MP for about just over a year. So a little bit of background. Dubin Clark is the private equity firm that invested in MP and ultimately has supported the investment in 034, Javad and you guys as a team. I've been involved with them for about 3 years. I'm an advisor to the fund. I'm on several of the boards and have invested in several of the companies that I'm on the boards with Dubin Clark. A nice example is USSC, which I'm on the board of. United States Seating Company out of Pennsylvania. They're the #1 in transit bus seats. Sounds really boring. They look like this chair, basically, with a hard back. There's a little bit more to it than meets the eye, but they're the #1 in transit bus seats. We do driver's seats for rail, as well as for transit applications, as well as military seats, explosion-proof seating type applications. We've moved rapidly into fire suppression for vehicles. We do a water mist fire suppression system, so there's no foam, there's no environmental cleanup after it's been used. So it's a fabulous technology. We've been targeting the school bus market, and the reason we've been doing that is there's 456,000 yellow school buses operate in the US every single day, and there's about 200,000 transit buses. And we've been lobbying up in Washington, D.C., and a few months ago, the ruling came through that the future of our nation and our children is so important that fire suppression should be required on every single school bus. And we drove that piece of legislation through. And then the other piece that we've introduced is we bought some technology from Bose in an attenuated seating. It basically neutralizes all the vibrations from the road in commercial vehicles. So the driver. It needed a motorsport. So Dr. Bose himself, this was one of his initiated programs before he passed away. But he had relatives who were in the trucking industry and saw that people were getting bad back injuries. And they bounced around in these things. If you sat in the driver's seat of a Class 8 truck, you get thrown around a lot. And he said, we can fix this. So the same principles as they use with sound cancelling headphones, created the algorithms, and created a seat base that neutralized all vibration that went through from the truck to the driver. Basically, we've acquired that technology and the engineering expertise to take that to market across all commercial applications. We just acquired a large business out in Australia that's in the fire suppression business and service. We've also entered, by the way, service in a big way. We have a fire suppression installation service, and also for seating, for retrofits, etc. We've taken that business in 3 years from 30 million in revenues. Today we're operating at 140 million, and we're far from finished. So we've got a track record of putting our money where our mouth is, making the investments where it makes sense, and rolling forwards. So I joined MP from the board, but to this full-time role a few days ago. You might hear in my accent that I wasn't actually born in the US. I'm a Brit by background. I've been here 20 years. My son lives an hour up the road here. He works in San Francisco. I've been camping out in Florida up until this point, so I'm moving from Orange County, Florida now to Orange County, California. So we'll be nice and close. Before getting involved with Newman Clark, a bit more background, I is with, again, private equity help. I took a fire truck manufacturer, a company called E1 in Florida, #2 in the industry, from public ownership to private ownership, backed by a private equity firm. Fixed it, grew it. We acquired a whole bunch of other businesses, created what today is Rev Group, which is a public company listed on New York Stock Exchange. And we went from a couple $100 million in revenues to about 2.4 billion that company sits today. And they're the #1 in fire trucks, ambulances, medium-sized buses, transit buses, terminal trucks and motorized RVs. If you follow the RV piece at all, we had American Coach Fleetwood, Monaco and Holiday Ramble with the core brands and all of that. We got involved in NASCAR. We provided American coaches, $750,000 coaches to some of the NASCAR drivers, sponsored a NASCAR team. Obviously we did a lot in and out with fire departments. So if you realize 70% of fire departments are volunteers. And so it's a high passion business. A lot of people treat it as their club and their hobby, and it's life and death, and it's very passionate. All those trucks are custom made, and we design them from the chassis up. So kind of live the world that you're in. MP is a whole group of enthusiasts. So I was smiling, so there's a tattoo of the Audi emblem on the leg. You always say, you committed if you've put it to skin, right? So you'll see, you'll meet the MP group, and just like you, it is a group of enthusiasts. They turn wrenches on the weekend, they race their vehicles. We're going to combine efforts at SEMA this year. We've got 2 booths at SEMA, plus a bunch of cars outside in the Yokohama tire area, etc. We've got a bunch of vehicles all that. So it's exciting times. We're going to get the exposure we need. We're going to finalise the development plans that we've kind of agreed together to get initiatives moving. I'm really excited to have Javad part of our management team, and we didn't really acquire you, we partnered. And you'll feel that as time goes on. This is a partnership. We don't take stuff over. It's an inverted pyramid, and I sit at the bottom. You guys are at the top, and we lead by serving. And our role in life here is to help you have the resourcing and the funding and the expertise to capitalize on all these opportunities that are out there for us. So that's just a little bit more about us. And as the guys have said, we do have some boring administration stuff we have to get through this afternoon, but it's really important so we can cover you and your families on healthcare and protect your futures on your 401k. So just bear with us on that, we'll go through it and we'll make it as seamless as we possibly can. All right, before I have, sorry.